Hi everyone, it's Christmas Eve, and this is the second time I've faced the holidays unemployed. December 2023, laid off. October 2025, laid off again. If you think the second time is easier, let me tell you something. It's not. But 60 days into this latest disruption, I have some perspective that I didn't expect, including how to celebrate the holidays when your runway is burning and traditional gift giving really just isn't in the budget. So this isn't going to be a toxic positivity type video. It's not everything happens for a reason kind of BS. Here's what it is about. It's about what I learned over the last 60 days that changed how I'm seeing disruption, resilience, and what actually matters when the world tells you you're disposable. The corporate world, anyway. So if you're facing the holidays unemployed, especially if it's not your first time, this one's for you. So let me be real about what this is feeling like for me. The holidays when unemployed, they're hitting me very different. The second time is actually even hitting me harder. And you know what's worse than explaining a layoff at the family gatherings? Explaining a second one. People say, wait, didn't this just happen to you a couple of years ago? Yeah, it did. December 2023, I was laid off from Cisco as a part of a reduction. Then now in October, laid off again. And here I am, Christmas Eve 2025, doing the runway math again. So here's what I figured out that nobody told me about being laid off twice in 3 years. I realized that first the imposter syndrome multiplies. You start thinking, is it me? Am I the problem? Am I not good enough? Well, after 30 years in tech, a CCIE certification, principal solution architect roles, senior executive roles, and I'm still asking if I'm the problem. Second, the financial anxiety for me is different the second time as well. I've already burned through savings once. We already know how fast the runway is going to disappear. I've already made the hard cuts. So, got back into it, added some things, like the house. So, now I've got to figure out, okay, what do I cut the second time? And then the third thing that really hit me was the holiday traditions that I took for granted. Suddenly they've got a price tag on them that you can't justify. For example, gift giving. That's the obvious one. But how about eating out? How about all the Amazon packages that used to be showing up at the door? When you're calculating every dollar against your runway, every single purchase becomes mental negotiation. That's where something unexpected happened recently. The first time I was laid off, I panicked. I took the first offer, I did all the wrong things, I wasted a lot of time, and then I compromised. I told myself, just get stable again. And you know what? A year and 10 months later, here I am, laid off again. So this time, I made a different choice. This time I said, well, what if I actually built something that matters? What if I documented the real journey, not the LinkedIn polished version? But I also made a different choice about the holidays. We decided, my wife and I, to cut out traditional gift giving this year. Not because we wanted to, but because the runway map really says we need to. And here's what happened when we got creative instead. Well, instead of buying gifts, I'm spending some time, I'm writing heartfelt letters about our future together. Real messages, handwritten, about what I'm grateful for and what I'm building towards. And instead of the expensive dinners out, I'm testing recipes I've never tried before. Sous vide turkey was fun. For those of you who know, yeah, it's possible, and it's incredible. I also made southern cornbread dressing, which I've never made before in my life, and it was really good. And instead of store-bought treats, I'm baking her favorite things from scratch. And you know what I discovered through this? These feel more valuable than anything I could have bought. The time spent on it, the intention behind it, the creativity required, because money's tight. So this isn't about making poverty sound noble. I'd love to have the financial freedom that we've had in the past years to be able to do both, the handwritten letters and the gifts. But what I learned is this: when you can't throw money at the holidays, you're forced to throw yourself at them instead. And that creates connection in a way that Amazon Prime never could. This is what I mean by using disruption creatively. Not accepting loss, not settling for less. Finding ways to create more meaning with less money. And then something else kind of incredible happened when I started building in public about this journey. You showed up. I started the Career Resiliency Academy YouTube channel, documenting this journey, real numbers, real struggles, some strategies. But people from around the globe now, tech workers in India, some engineers in Germany, managers in Australia, even consultants in Canada, all navigating the same disruption, showed up. Then I created the Phoenix Rising Discord community because I needed it myself. A place where we could talk about COBRA and severance negotiation, geographic arbitrage, consulting setup, things that I'm testing, and now how to navigate the holidays when money's tight without the toxic positivity, because I don't need that. And a lot of you showed up there too. And here's what the second layoff taught me that the first one didn't. Number one, stability is a myth. Companies will lay you off regardless of your performance, your certifications, your loyalty, your time and grade, the fact that it's the holiday season. The safe path, it's just not safe. Two, you might as well bet on yourself. I mean, if you're going to face uncertainty either way, you might as well try and build something you can control. Now, it's hard, and I'm working through that, and I'm trying to share ideas and support with all of you. But it's doable. Three, the second time actually gives you permission to do it differently. Take what you learned the first time, the mistakes you think you made, and you don't have to prove that you can get another job. We already did that. But now I get to ask, what do I actually want to build? 4, creativity beats cash when you're forced to get intentional about what matters, especially during the holidays. And here's what I learned from you. Vulnerability is creating connection. Every time I share a setback, someone else says, "Me too." That matters more than I can express. Transparency builds trust. When I shared my actual runway calculations, my Alabama relocation strategy, my consulting pipeline and challenges, You engaged. You asked questions. Some of you even shared your numbers or your situation. I also confirmed that community beats isolation every single time. The middle of a career transition is lonely until you find your people. So you actually became my people. And I'm grateful for that. Very grateful. But here's where it gets interesting. While documenting this journey, I kept hitting the same problem. I didn't have visibility into my actual financial runway. I had multiple different tools that wanted access. They wanted my data. They want to scrape my data. They want to sell my behavior patterns. So as someone who uses Proton Mail and Signal and such, I wasn't about to hand over my financial life to what I call surveillance capitalism. So I built something different. Next week, I'm actually soft launching WealthCheck. It's a privacy-first wealth tracking platform to help you build resilience and prevent situations like no bank connections, no APIs, no data harvesting, just manual entry, gamified progress. More importantly, the clarity that you need during uncertainty. And here's why this matters to me for those of us going through career transitions. When you're laid off, you need to know how many months can you actually survive? What happens if you do like I'm doing and relocate to a cheaper area? How do consulting gigs potentially impact your burn rate? And when do you need to panic versus when can you be strategic? And the one that's hitting home right now, can you afford traditional holiday spending like you have in the years past? Or do you need to get creative? So I built this tool because I needed it. And if you value privacy and control over your financial data, you actually need it too. But it's more than a product. It's proof that you can build something meaningful while unemployed. That disruption can create opportunity if you channel it right. Is it scary? Absolutely. I'm betting some of my runway on this. More importantly, I'm building in public. I'm putting myself out there. But to me, that's what resilience looks like in action. Not blind optimism, not toxic positivity, strategic action in the face of uncertainty. So here's where I am as we close out 2025. 2 layoffs within two and a half years. Some people will call that a failure. Some would say, I'm cursed. Some would tell me to take just any job and stop being idealistic. But here's what I see. I see clarity about what corporations really are. As you've all expressed, they're not families. We know they're not safe. They're economic entities that will cut you when the spreadsheet says so. But I see opportunity that I wouldn't have seen if I just stayed comfortable. I see a community of people who get it because we're living it together. I see handwritten letters replacing Amazon packages and creating more meaning in the process. I see sous vide turkey experiments and cornbread dressing attempts that bring more connection in my house than any restaurant reservation I could make. Financially, I'm still burning runway, but I'm extending it through Geographic Arbitrage and moving to Alabama and trying to build a consulting pipeline. Here's how I'm feeling mentally. I've got more clarity right now than I've had in years about what I'm building and who I'm serving. From a community perspective, I love being surrounded by people who get it. The YouTube subscribers, the Phoenix Rising Discord members, the LinkedIn connections who engage during the journey. And how about from a project's perspective? I've got Wealth Check that I'm trying to launch next week. The YouTube channel is growing. Amazing. And my consulting practice, it's developing. But more than that, the thing that's really getting me is the relationships. Definitely deeper and more intentional than when I had the budget to avoid a real connection. So, like I said, am I scared? Sure, yes. But am I betting everything on this right now? Yeah, absolutely. But here's the difference between this layoff and the last one. This time, I'm not just surviving. I'm building. The first layoff happened to me. This one, I'm using it for something. So here's what I want you to take from this video. If you're facing the holidays unemployed, whether it's your first time or your fifth, first, your feelings are extremely valid. The anxiety, the identity crisis we've talked about, the financial stress, the shame, all of it's real. We're all going through that. Don't let anyone toxic positivity you out of acknowledging that. Second, you're not alone. Join communities like Phoenix Rising, but engage, ask questions, share your story. The isolation is worse than the unemployment. The third piece of advice I'd give you is use this disruption, document it, build something, learn something, but transform it into clarity about what you really want. And then fourth, get creative with the holidays. You don't need money to create meaning. For example, handwritten letters, home-cooked experiments, but time spent with intention. These cost nothing and mean everything. This isn't about romanticizing your situation. It's about refusing to let financial constraints steal your joy or your connection. And if you need a community that gets it, the Phoenix Rising Discord, it's free. The Career Resilience Academy YouTube is free. We show up for each other. We share strategies for navigating holidays on a budget, celebrating creative solutions. And if you need financial clarity during your transition, Wealth Check is going to launch next week. It's built for people like us who value privacy and control. And there are a number of resources there that are free and just to help you through this challenging situation. So here's what I'm looking for in 2026. I don't know if Wealth Check becomes sustainable. I don't know if consulting scales or even exists. I don't know if I'll be employed or self-employed, but I do know this. I'm building something that matters, and I'm serving people who need it. I'm doing it transparently, authentically. I'm creating deeper connections with less money, which is awesome. And I'm discovering that resilience isn't about going back to how things were. It's about building something better from what's broken. And whatever 2026 brings, I won't face it alone. Neither should you. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate or don't celebrate. Here's to rising from the disruption together. Here's to getting creative when money is tight. And here's to building meaning when we can't buy it. So, just a couple of quick things before you go. If this resonated, please hit the subscribe button. I'm documenting the entire journey. The wins, the losses, the creative solutions. 2, join Phoenix Rising Discord. There's a link in the description. It's where we talk strategy, share budget-friendly ideas, support each other through the real stuff. 3, well, check soft launches next week. If you want early access, just comment privacy below, and I'll make sure you're the first to know. And 4, please drop a comment with your creative holiday solution this year. How are you creating meaning without breaking the bank? I read every single one, and I guarantee you someone else needs to hear your idea. So thank you very much. See you in the next video, and hey, we got this.